don't think Brian cares. Anyways, I've talked about Brian's arc before. Yes, it is true. There is a person that I play with all the time. I play games with all the time. His name is Brian, and he's one of my closest friends now that I still like talk to from Vancouver. But we dated for a month. I knew him because in eighth grade, was it eighth grade? No, it was seventh grade. I knew of him in seventh grade because he went to a sister school, and there was a park that his um his elementary school and my elementary school shared. Um, it was called Bobolink Park. Bobolink. Yep. So every Friday, our teacher would have us go to Bobolink if we were good. Um, and sometimes students from his school would be there already too. So it was like it felt like two schools kind of getting to know each other. But also when we played sports, because I joined a lot of sports teams in elementary school, we would go over to their schools, and I always had an eye on him. I had like a little crush on him because I was like, oh, he's like super cute and he's super good at basketball. So I always had a crush on him, but he had a girlfriend at the time. Um, yeah, and this was seventh grade. And then eighth grade was high school, and we ended up going to the same high school. And then we ended up going, we also both joined the badminton team. So I was seeing him during badminton practice, and, but we started dating a month because at the end of summer, I think, or the beginning of summer, I found out his email, and we started chatting MSN. And then we went on a date at Metrotown. We met up to watch a movie, and he remembers so many details that I didn't remember, but he told me recently. Apparently, I was really late. Apparently, it was our first date, and I showed up super late, and he was already like, "Don't like this, hate that." Like we were already like not very compatible, but yeah, I was late. He wasn't having it, and I remember being late because I just didn't know what to wear. Simple as that. And then, so he, hi Mio. Um, yeah, so we go on a date, but anyways, we end up dating for a month, and the reason why we broke up, very messy breakup, super messy. Actually, we're about to get real messy. Okay. Um, is he a water sign? No, he's a Capricorn actually. But anyways, uh, yeah. There's this girl, okay, and she was actually from my elementary school, but I never really talked to her because she was like super rebellious kid. She was more like a skater girl. Like I remember she was like smoking cigarettes at a really young age. Like she was a delinquent. So I never really got close to her. But for some reason, we had multiple classes together, and so we decided to talk and all of that. And she was like, "Hey, are you dating Brian?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Oh my god, I actually have a couple classes with him." And she's like, "Wow, like good job. He's like really cute." And she's like just saying all these like really uncomfortable things, and I'm like, thanks." And then she gets to the point where we do become close. We end up being like running buddies in PE. And she's like, "You know, tell me about your guys' relationship." Pretty much just like getting out so much information. And I just end up telling her because I don't think there's anything wrong. And then she's like, "Oh, okay." And even like small issues, I'll tell her, and she's like, "Oh, I see." And then at some point, she started telling me things that were kind of like as if Brian responded, or Brian's side of things. And I was like angry because I'm like, first of all, that's not true, blah blah blah. So I would argue back. And essentially, long story short, she was getting information from me so that she could tell Brian in her other class, and then get information from Brian, and then tell me. So she was going back and forth to homewreck us, essentially, because she had a crush on him. But it did get bad. It did get bad because obviously, like, it was my first high school relationship. It was one of those things where it's like, oh my God, we are not going to communicate properly here. We're like, communication is one of the hardest things to learn. Like, communication, you hear all the time, is everything, but also active listening, everything. We're not going to do any of that in in that year of high school. So obviously, we misinterpreted everything, and the stories were all spun in, like, this other girl's voice, and she embellished things that were complete, like, lies, um and made us hate each other, and we ended up breaking up through her. So the breakup was really messy though, because it was one of those things where, like, my pride kind of got the best of me, and it was my very first, like, prideful breakup where I was just like, oh, you broke up with me? No, I'm breaking up with you. And because he also was like, I don't care anymore, let's just let it be done. I don't know why, but in, like, at the moment I was just like, oh no, like, I've never not want a guy in my life, like, I always pick and choose, like, the right men. I always get what I want, essentially, kind of what was going through my brain. Not exactly those words, but definitely I was just like, it was a foreign feeling to me to finally not be wanted in that kind of way. So I was like, okay, all of a sudden I kind of want you back. And he's like, no, it's not gonna work out. And I was just like, no, please, we can't break up. We can't let her win. And he's just like, no, I just don't think we're compatible. I just don't like you anymore. He was just like, and then this was like the first time where I experienced, like, super embarrassment with, like, my pride. And it was the first time I ever begged for a relationship, essentially. I remember class class was it like a being, what was the word, we were in rotation to go to our next block, and I remember falling to my knees. It was the most embarrassing thing. But oh my gosh, it's one of those things where it's kind of laughable now, and I am so glad that I got all that dramaticness, all that embarrassment out of the way at a young age. I cheated in 7th grade. I begged for a boy 8th grade. Like, mm, I 100% got all of that out of the way. Was it because you loved him? No. Or just because of your pride? It was 110% my pride. 110, like 200%. We were not attracted to each other. We were not compatible as lovers. But my pride was like, oh yeah, I can't handle that. So yeah, but you think that's all that happened with that relationship? Oh hell no. Brian and I have such a crazy history, actually. So after that crazy fiasco, obviously it doesn't work out. But both of us are kind of on rampage mode. We both are talking mad about each other, and it gets to the point where Brian makes a joke that he wants to beat me up. He was like, I mean, if she's still talking shit, I can just get people to jump her. And he said that. So when Grapevine got back to me, I was super super upset. Mhm. And I end up telling a person. I end up cuz, like, I was sitting next to this guy, and he's a pretty cool dude. Like, he's a really popular dude too, and he was really cool. And he noticed that I was just like, I look really sad. So he asked me what's up, and I told him. I'm like, yeah, so Brian's going around telling people he like wants to get me jumped and stuff, and he wants to beat me up. And when that guy heard, he's like, "Are you kidding me? A man wants to touch a woman like that, or he wants to hurt you like that? He is such a wimp." Blah 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 blah. How about I go like talk to him and see how he likes that? Because this guy is like super like tough guy, right? So yeah, he goes out of his way, talks to Brian, and he basically is like, "Why would you threaten to beat her up? What the hell's wrong with you?" And Brian, I kid you not, I I hate him so much for this because he basically single-handedly made me so hated by a quarter of the school. Anyways, Brian tells him, "What the hell? Chill out, man. It was just a joke." Basically, essentially making me look like some crazy dramatic liar, also like exaggerator, whatever. But to me, it wasn't a joke, you know? I wasn't told that it was a joke. And yeah, just a prank, bro. So obviously, the guy got really pissed. He came back to me and was just like, you really shouldn't be making a big deal out of things when you guys should just talk to each other, because I confronted him and he said it was just a joke. Like if it was just a joke, like it's not really something you should take seriously, blah blah blah. And I'm like, but I genuinely didn't think it was a joke. And he's just like, well, they're just saying you're being dramatic. So I'm not gonna lie, like I know these people more than you do. I know these people more than I know you. I'm just not gonna be involved anymore. And after that, pretty much all of the alumni of his elementary school and the cool guy's elementary school, both of them, all of them hated me or felt like I was really like crazy girl vibes, or horrible girl that gets herself in a relationship and can't handle herself vibes, like you know what I mean, like problematic. Yep. Do you think any of them can be in the chat right now? Probably, maybe, possibly. I don't care though. It's fine. It was high school. But then the thing is, um, the funny thing is, he ends up reaching out to me because later on he finds out that I started streaming League, and apparently it was like one of his favorite games at the time. And that's when he reached out and was like, "Oh my god, you play League?" Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, "Oh my god." The like boy that single-handedly made like a quarter of my entire grade hate me. Ew. But nah, we talked it out. We squashed it. We both apologized. He was like, "We're all young and dumb. Blah, 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 blah. Do you want people to play League with?" And I was like, "Yes, I do. I would love some more friends that play League." And now we're really close. Yeah. Now we're very close. We're chill now. Of retelling these stories because I'm that confident that I just do not care about them anymore, and they're so laughable to me. So I don't mind at all. But yeah, after that, guys, I wasn't kidding when I said I was boy crazy. Literally a week later, I end up eyeing um a bandmate in band, woodwinds. Um, except he played the bass guitar. Regardless, I thought he was really cute, and I was a flute player, so I sat in the front. So naturally, whenever I looked back, I would see him, and he would see me, and it just became a staring thing. Like literally, we didn't even talk. I to be honest, I didn't even know what he sounded like for the longest time, because he's such a quiet person. We just always looked at each other. Bass guitar. Can't spell bass without ass. Oh my god. You were in band. Yeah, I was a flute player since 6th grade. I played all the way through 10th grade. Yep. Um, puppy love. Sure. It was like a puppy rebound love. So, we'd always look at each other. And I was looking for a rebound because I'm like, ugh, I cannot be down bad right now over a guy because of my pride. So I need to show that I can move on super fast. So, um, I was like, all right, I'm gonna go for it. So a week later, with all like the eye glance exchanges and stuff like that, we perform at a different school for our band, like maybe a Christmas concert. I don't remember, but I remember pretty much sitting next to him when a different school was performing. So I sat next to him and I was very forward. I was just like hi, like I noticed that you that we're always looking at each other, blah blah blah. And I was like, do you like me? And he was like, oh my god. But he was just like, yeah, you're pretty cute, blah blah blah. And I'm like, oh yeah, can I have your MSN? And he's like, yeah, sure. So we exchange emails and we end up talking. Obviously, he ends up liking me. We end up liking each other for the. Oh, it wasn't Christmas concert. Yeah, actually, no, it was. It was a holiday concert before Christmas break. There we go. All right. So, good old MSN. Yep. We don't even go on a date, by the way, guys, because this is how short this timeline and this relationship lasted. Because, so, I hate to admit this, but I have to be honest. I've already told you guys all my deepest and darkest secrets of my childhood. I might as well tell you guys this too. I'm no longer like this, guys, because I got braces myself later. But earlier on, I did not know braces. So he has braces, and I got really scared. I was genuinely scared of kissing him. I didn't want to kiss him. I refused to let it happen. And I kid you not, guys, this is the most dramatic K-drama scene of my motherfucking life. Let me tell you. So, I was not for kissing this guy. So we went like probably a whole month of just talking and dating, but I refused to kiss him. Like I refused to kiss him. We're holding hands. We make it very public that, you know, we're dating, blah blah blah. It's awesome. Except I've never kissed the guy. So finally, I think like a month in, he's less like the end of or like sorry, mid-December. So not a month in, sorry. Like 2 weeks in. He's just like, "Yeah, so we never kissed, blah, blah, blah. What's your opinion on that?" And I was just like, oh, I just really like to take things slow. Yeah, just who I am. Sorry. Until the last day of uh mid-December for before we go head into holiday break. So it was one of those moments where you're like, okay, you got to talk to your friends now or else, you know, they're all going to travel for the holidays and, you know, you got to get off whatever's on your chest now. So, this part is so cringe. Anyways, oh my god, my eyes are just naturally rolling back. Like that's how bad this memory is. So the last day before holiday break, he essentially comes up to me and he goes, "Hey, I'm gonna be playing some basketball with my friends." And I was like, "Okay." He's like, "Do you want to come watch?" And I'm like, sure, but I really should walk home soon. And then, cause I'm like, the weather looks kind of rough. And he's just like, "Well, I'm gonna really miss you." Blah 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 blah. How about that kiss though? And I'm like, I'm just like, I don't know. I think like a miracle will have to happen at this point because I just really need to take it slow. And he's like, a miracle? Like something like that. Like something along the lines of like something impossible, right? And I kid you not. I said, I'll kiss you if it snows. And the weather app said it was gonna rain. It did not say it was going to snow. You see where this is going? But wait, there's more. Motherfucker was like not going to bet on that, by the way, because I didn't bet on it. He didn't bet on it. He's like, I have another idea. how about if I beat my friends, or sorry, I'm gonna go play basketball and talk to them about this. And I was like, okay, whatever. We go over there. And then he, I'm pretty sure they set me up because there's no way they knew what to say. But essentially, like some conversation were to be had. And then they were like, oh, if da 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 misses this shot, he has to kiss you in front of us. And I'm like, what? That sounds like a really stupid thing. Like he's gonna miss on purpose. Yeah, he missed. Not only did he miss, but it was such a dramatic performance that he also slipped on his butt. It was just not a cute look. It was like, oh my god, he literally embarrassed himself too. It was like too much acting. Like he was doing too much for real. Like it was not, yeah, they were wingmen for sure. So I'm just like, oh my god, I didn't agree to this. But then also there were like multiple people at this point. They were all involved. They were all excited. And I'm like, oh my god, oh my god. No one is above peer pressure. So at this point, I was like, okay, well. So I told him, I told him, I'm like, okay, I am down for this kiss to happen, but can we not have it be in front of you guys? Like I'm just a very private person. I'm just very embarrassed right now. Like I'm just a little shy. And they're like, oh yeah, it's cool. Have at it. Bye. Have fun. Tell us how it is. Like, doing the whole like sussy jokes, like right before we leave. Real mature. We are walking the streets and I'm stalling as much as I can. I'm literally telling him all these things about my life and just random stuff, just really random talks. And then finally, we hit a street where it is time for us to part ways. I look at him, he looks at me, he pulls me in closer, and I'm dying. I'm dying. I'm like, I don't want to do this. All I'm staring at are his braces. And if you guys know me and know my history with braces, the only experience I have with braces is watching Brace Face, and there's a literal episode where she and a dude, they kiss and the braces get stuck and it's like nasty and it's like her biggest fear. And that was my image of what braces gonna happen. I genuinely thought that my lip was gonna get stuck to one of his elastics. Like I didn't know braces physics. I didn't have braces at the time. I remember that. Yeah, that episode. It was so awful. That was a good show, to be honest. It was a good show. But holy crap, I was just like, I am so doomed. And I kid you not, right when I was about to tell him, like, I'm chickening out, like, I'll see you. I was ready. Like, I had what I was going to say in my head. I was going to say, like, I promise you, let's kiss, like, after the holiday break. I kid you not. Right when I was about to make my emergency exit, it mother freaking snows. It starts snowing! My life is a joke. My life, a literal joke. It said 100% precipitation, and it was so wrong. It was so wrong. Not a Christmas miracle. No. A Christmas nightmare. The nightmare before Christmas. Tim Burton wrote it after my story. He did. But so when it happened, Godwing man, yeah. No, literally, I felt like the greater power out there was teaching me a life lesson to stop dating guys I don't genuinely like. Literally, they're like, this is, oh yeah, you are about to play another boy. Oh hell no, we're gonna play you. So I got played, bro. It was so bad.